Welcome to 13 minutes of news in 13 minutes or less. All right, lots of news went on this week. Again, always, first and foremost, you can find it on uberlyftdrivers.com. I've got it all up there. If you go through the week, especially yesterday's post, gig economy, rideshare, delivery, news roundup, there's a ton of stories in there, but you can always just scroll through the site. There's tons of information. There was a lot of stuff out there this week. Covered a lot on the podcast this week. Covered some good ground on the roundtable, and just working on lots of stories and trying to bring everything together. The main thing right now I'm trying to do is bring together, merge everything into uberlyftdrivers.com, including a subdomain of the podcast, which will be able to be played, downloaded. If there's video for it, the video will be able to be watched through uberlyftdrivers.com. You'll go to uberlyftdrivers.com. You'll be able to click on podcast, which you can already do, but I'm actually talking about bringing the domain in as a subdomain, and then it will be graphically enhanced and have all the features of the ridesharerodeo.com page. However, it will be integrated into the uberlyftdrivers page, .com, uberlyftdrivers.com. So keep an eye on that. It's a project I'm working on, along with a new page too, about all content creators who I have worked with, who have been on the program, who I watch myself, who just anything. And it doesn't have to be GigTube creators. It could be YouTube creators. It could be anything. So that is a page I'm working on too. So it'll be like an index, but it's not going to be some, like Dark Road Run Joe, a long while back throughout all the gig tubers, which is great. It's like a directory of the gig tubers, and it's nothing against any gig tubers. It's just if I haven't worked with you direct, it's same as I am with products. If I haven't worked with the product or the platform directly, I can't endorse it, and that's not what I'm saying here. But if I haven't had you on the show, or we don't have a personal relationship, or you've never been on the podcast, or even if we've just talked and you've never been on any of those, I'm fine. You're going to end up on the page. But if I don't know you at all, it's nothing against you. But until I do, I just, I'm not going to, I'll populate it, and I'll tell you what, in a little paragraph, what I believe each channel to be about. And you guys can visit and like the ones you like, and like the podcast you like the YouTube channels you like. There'll be a lot in there. But it'll be constantly growing too, because every new guest, they're going to go in too. So that said, check that out. Please go to YouTube and subscribe to ridesharerodeo.com. You're probably watching this on YouTube. But yeah, you are watching this on YouTube. So I guess I was trying to figure out if there's any way this comes across to another platform. Sometimes I do take clips. So this could end up as clips somewhere. But yeah, that was pretty much a plug for YouTube on YouTube. But let's get into I'm going to hit on three stories. There's bigger ones, I think. The last one is the biggest to me that I'm going to hit on today. There's bigger ones going on in the news if you want to track it, including all kinds of world maneuvers that are, you might be like, well, yeah, that's India, or yeah, that's Australia. But they all can be tied to the future, and even though they're much different, they're the way their governments are run, whatnot, the way that things are put in place, they are all different. We are all different. However, there's a lot of to be learned from especially Europe, but even all the other demographics too, and what they got going on. There's a lot going on with that. Hopefully, we'll get into some of that tomorrow for the open mic. Or the open forum live, and I haven't seen BudSoda in a while, so this is a shout out to BudSoda for one. Number two, he is going to be on the open mic with me tomorrow. I asked him to because he hadn't been around in a while, and so normally the open mic's just an open mic, but tomorrow I asked BudSoda if he would, and he said yeah, so we're going to sit down and chat with BudSoda for a bit. Let's see. Let's jump into this. So I want to talk real quickly. We've discussed it a couple times this week, but I'm going to put it quickly. The Instacart IPO. So they filed for a confidential IPO. Nothing strange there. That's fairly normal. they the one weird thing that they did do that none of the gig companies have done. So Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, all of these came out and did not IPO well, could not hold their value. Lyft was on the Nasdaq and IPO'd at like high 70s, $77 a share or something, and it's now about 20% of its value, of its original value. Uber IPO'd at 59, or was it? I'm sorry, 50, maybe 51. Again, it's been a while, guys, and I don't have the stats in front of me, but let's just call it 50, because it was, it had a bad rocky start too. But everybody at Uber hoped they were going to be up in the 70s, even though they were on the Dow, not the Nasdaq. So even though it's on the bigger platform and the SEC takes more things into account when you're going to be on the Dow, like longevity and things like that. So that said, none of them have anywhere come close to what they promised the people. Like Uber, half their value. Lyft, 20% their value. DoorDash, I mean, clearly we were all happy with the way it looked coming out of the gate, but so it was a little bit different. But now it's not. I mean, go look at how it's trading. You'll see. If you're not familiar, it's not trading well at all now. They had some issues too. But here comes Instacart, my least favorite platform of them all, the one that I've tried, I worked, I did it because my podcast listeners asked me to and said, why haven't you done the grocery space? So I did Shipt in that. I still do Shipt, but I still have an active Instacart account, but it's more just to look at how bad the offers are. But here's something interesting that Instacart did. So Instacart took their value of 42 million and decided that, you know what, let's IPO at, or 24 billion, or 42 billion, but they actually are going to IPO at 24 billion. So they decided to knock basically 40% off what they were coming to the table with. Now the SEC, when you go live with a stock, they actually track it, and you have this real-time monitor that goes on when you launch, and that goes on for like 4 hours to determine if your rate is correct by volume and things going on. So your IPO rate can change before you even go. But it's better to come in with, so in my opinion, this is one of the first things Instacart's ever done right, because they've watched all these other companies 10 years after the fact come in and fail at how they execute coming onto the market. And it's not hard for these companies to fail because they were never set up to be on the market, really. I mean, if you look at the last 10 years of any of these companies before they went public, everything was venture capitalism and money coming from California and the Bay Area and stuff. So a lot of startup money and stuff. But once you go public, you have to produce records, you have to do quarterly earnings and all this, that, and the other. And a lot, you can't really just kind of say, oh, our earnings were this anymore. So I'm kind of impressed because I feel like Instacart's trying to say, hey, we know we're not worth 42 million or billion. Let's bring that down to 24. But that's quite a bounce. I think they realized they missed the pandemic height, and it is what it is. This one's just a quick one. Oops, I'm out of order. This one's just a quick one. I just thought it was hilarious. So man shares greatest email from DoorDash, giving $0 for their problem. Now, this one I'm not even going to get into too much. It's one of those ones that I want to spend like 2 seconds on finding the actual wordage here. Is a man shared the greatest email. But it said, the email said, we sincerely apologize that due to technical issues, your order from Shake Shack on 5/1/22 may not have been delivered to your standard you expected. You trusted us and we let you down. We will be issuing you $0 in your DoorDash credits towards your next order in hopes that you give us another try. Okay, now here's the other thing though. The subject of the email, first of all, that's a horrible email, right? The subject of the email was, we're sorry. Please enjoy $0 off your next order. So, insult to injury, right? But okay, here's the last story. And any of you that know me know this. I'm a big advocate of do not pick up kids when you're doing rideshare. Oddly, when I was doing the safety videos in the beginning of April, was it April or maybe May? When I was doing those safety videos, my final video was the one I cared about most. This: do not pick up kids. I was a driver. I've been a driver since 2014, so I went through the thick of this. 2015, 2016, early 17 was like the worst of times for this. It started to kind of die off a bit, but not at any kind of rapid speed. Pandemic hit, nobody was taking rides. As people went back to rideshare, this really wasn't happening. But kind of knew in the back of my head, this will start back up. Well, it has. Here, there's like 13 articles out there right now. Again, I'll put the 3 links to these articles in the show note or in the notes to this video. But here's the one that I picked. It doesn't matter. It's from Omaha. Terms and conditions get ignored a lot. Metro, Uber, and Lyft drivers say they're getting requests to take kids to school. The biggest thing here is that this study found that 40% of the time that they are picking up the minors. And in most cases of those 40%, the drivers say they weren't aware that they couldn't do that. Now, I know that sounds like it'd be your first offense, but I got to tell you that I have people contact me about that. I didn't know. And I know these people, so I know that they don't know. But nonetheless, this has to stop. Make sure it stops. If you know a rideshare driver, make sure you say something, because you might oddly find that they say, I didn't know that. And they might be being very genuine and honest. So, guys, with that said, it's been fun. It's been awesome. Thank you for joining me in 13 minutes or less. Peace.